By the time you guys see this video, Concord will have hit official release, and brother, it's going to be tough sledding, okay? We've seen the beta numbers, not even cracking 2K players on free weekend, let alone, I think, didn't the numbers go down the moment that it was open up to a wider audience, that you didn't have to pre-order the game or get sent a code from somebody dumb enough to actually slap down $40 for this abomination? But now we're getting the pre-release reviews for the people who have had early access, people foolish enough or just rich enough to part with cash for their digital deluxe edition, and owners on Steam are starting to pop up. Some users claim the final performance is abysmal. Oh no, that's kind of funny, because that's what we've been seeing recently, even with some of the better games like Black Myth Wukong. Terrible performance. Final Fantasy 16, okay, now that it's getting a PC release, which I'm super hyped about, unironically, okay, I wanted to just go ahead and smooth off some of its edges, because yeah, its performance is abysmal. Star Wars Outlaws, and I'd imagine Ubisoft's other freak show at the end of the year in Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be chewing up GPUs like Yasuke chews up, random Asians on the street. Stop Asian hate, unless you're Ubisoft, and monetize Asian hate. But the number of users is also really slow, and I'd imagine we'll be talking about this here in the near future when there's literal dozens of people checking this out. But I was completely on board with the beta. Here's a review of somebody who did play. Okay, the game was fun, albeit with some odd design choices. I mean, picture is unrelated, but good fun. Playing on pre-release now, and you can see the beta was simply a bait, a slice of the whole pie built to show the best of what the game has to offer. What the beta didn't show is a much worse than expected. Terrible map design, abysmal performance, cluttered and redundant user experience, and the pre-monetization strategy that has no reason to be this bad. I'll speak about the exclusive paid skins. I beg your pardon, you were supposed to get the full experience according to the Concord devs, which is nothing more than basic palette swap. Oh, great. This game had a lot of potential, X the doubt, and could be so fun at moments, but good luck trying to find that fun now. Oh my god, and that is from somebody who is an out-and-out fan purchasing the digital deluxe edition. But brother, you would have thought that they would have had a more complete product, given the fact that they had 8 years of development. What the? Yo, okay, here's a problem with games in general in the AAA space, and this is why indie is dominating the scene. 8 years of development. That's ridiculous, okay? That's why, again, I've got to shout it out. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. The fact that they turned around a game of that scope, scale, with that amount of style in about 4 years, that's tremendous. But you also seen the steep drop-off when it came to sales, because 4 years is a long time, is an incredibly long time to announce something, to have first part in a multi-part release schedule for your story. You're just going to naturally drive some people away from engaging with something that is ultimately good. Same with House of the Dragon, right? Like, it was the talk of the town, and it had an uphill battle to fight with season 1 off the back of the atrocious season 8 of Game of Thrones, but it did an amicable job, and viewership continued to trend upwards. And then season 2 came around, and it started already at a lower stake. Not much lower, but are objectively lower. And why did that happen? Was the writing that much worse? Well, season 2 was a bit of a step down from season 1, but all things considered, it took a full 2 years for the second season to come out. When you take that long, people aren't going to be interested, and it's also impossible, right? Like, if you're locked in on development for 8 years, which is ridiculous, you're working on a foundation that was set in 2016. Just think how much gaming, think how much entertainment, think how much the world has changed since 2016. Actually, to be completely honest, if we're going to be meta about this, the world really hasn't changed all that much since about 2003. Still, just think about the leaps and bounds in technology alone. What did you think your always online live service game was going to be a winner after sinking that many resources into it? That's incredible. Concord's Sony's live service hero shooter has been in development for around 8 years. It's according to lead character designer. This is the lead character designer working on those abominations for 8 years, brother, who joined the development team at Sony owned Firewalk Studios 5 years ago to work on the game. Wisniewski tweeted to celebrate this week's launch of Concord. It's available to play now across PlayStation. Okay, yeah, I'm not shelling this garbage and trust me, it's not going to make a difference anyways. The game has been in development for around 8 years, and I've been there for almost 5 of them. We don't get a lot of launch days in our careers, so today is special for a ton of reasons. Oblige me, some good vibes today, because that's about the only thing that this thing is going to take in. Good vibes from sycophants and nobody caring in about a week's time. Concord lead character designer claims development is strapped in and ready to push on for years to come, because yeah, they've already sank 8 years into it, and by God, we're going to go ahead and try to milk as much as we can out of this crap. John Wisniewski, a lead character designer at Firewalk Studios, Concord, attempted to sell the game by claiming he and the development team are strapped in and strapped on and ready to push it for years to come. Pause. In an interview with PC Gamer, Wisniewski touted the game, stating, "I can't believe you're the character designer and you go out with shit like this. Brother, fire yourself. Have some dignity." Concord has so much humanity and depth in it. I mean, have you seen from the actual reviews from the people that are out there? It sounds like it's devoid of both of those things. He added, "Insanely proud of the game. We're strapped in and ready to push it for years to come." It's unlikely the game will be around for years to come. Hell, it might be around for months to come. Get in while the getting's good. Given the game's concurrent player counts during its early access and open beta, where players were able to play the game for free before it hits the market for $40. The early access beta only had a peak concurrent player of 1,124 players, and that's when it was stone cold free to the masses. Friggin' believable. When the game went in open beta a week after the early access beta, I got it switched around. Yeah, it hit 2,400. Oh, not even cracking that. 2,388 players. That's when all it cost was storage space, and people weren't even inclined to do that. That means the player base actually increased by 112%. However, a sub 2,500 peak concurrent players is not good for a free first party Sony beta. Okay, like 2,500 concurrent players is probably great for a couple of indie projects, but for a Sony produced game, a first party Sony produced game, a game that has been in development for nigh on a decade, that's the best that you can do? Okay. In fact, a report from Keys Airless Stevenson at True Trophies claims that the number of players who played the open beta compared to the early access beta on PlayStation actually decreased by over 8%. So yeah, okay, because yeah, that's just obviously the Steam numbers, and yeah, there's probably going to be more people over playing it on the PS5 because, well, first party Sony title, right? He's got the inside scoop on this, and yeah, when it was open to more people, when you didn't have to shell out, when you didn't have to have PlayStation Extra or whatever their top tier subscription services to get access to it, fewer people actually joined in on the quote unquote fun. Oof. He wrote, "Using a gameplay data sample from over 3.1 million active PSN accounts, we can see that Concord has 8.1% fewer players in the second open beta than the early access beta." He added, "In our PlayStation chart that ranks the top 40 most popular games every week, Concord ranked 29th position both weeks." Brother. Not only do players on both PC and PlayStation seem uninterested in the game, those who did play it were not impressed. YouTuber, oh my god, what's up gamers? Dreamcast guy described the game as Walmart brand Overwatch, and that's being generous because I see that and I'm calling it EBT Overwatch. Like, brother, what are we doing? Angry Joe was also unimpressed. Yo, even Perturbed Jose didn't like it. It would be great as a free-to-play game because, to be honest, it does have its moments. Oh, great. Yeah, I'd check it out if it was free, but for $40, nah. The graphics actually look quite good. It has some great character animations. Not design, but animations are fine. Some good facial expressions. Yeah, that's what I want in my hero shooter. Facial expressions, right? They're high-quality cutscenes, even if the story is not at all interesting. Yeah, it looks good, but it makes absolutely no sense. Oh, so it's Alien Romulus. The maps are not memorable. Pretty much every single other hero shooter has a better maps. Overwatch, Marvel's rivals. These maps aren't very good, and so that's a problem. And that's finally, I didn't feel much of a sense of progression. Oh, that's interesting, talking about how bad the maps are, and now that people have full access to it are saying the maps are trash. Seems to track. The game has also been torn apart for its ugly character design. Yeah, we've talked about old tons of fun right there, and there are tons of armor plate. The Kim Bel-Air stand-in that was up here, right? With her goofy-ass Oprah shoulder pads. The Ancient Asian, another unremarkable black lady, and then R2-D2 if he was a piss tank. I mean, if it took you 5 years to design all of these uninspired, unoriginal, DEI-infused characters, I could see why this game has failed. I can see why Sony's trying to recoup any sort of losses out of it by pushing it as hard as they can. But at the end of the day, we'll be talking about this as one of the biggest failures of the year, and this is also a year that includes the Sweet Baby Inc. line of games, the Tales of Kenzara Cow, dead. It's dead. Flintlock, Siege of the Dawn, and then also, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. That only cost Warner Brothers $200 million. What's this ultimately going to end up costing Sony? Who knows? At least you can stretch it out over a decade, right? Oof. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.